Hello everyone, and welcome back to EXAPUNKS. We are going to go back to Last Stop Snacksnet and solve it correctly this time. What I really should do is just copy the code for this guy. I don't know, most of the code is not actually all that useful, to be honest. All I really needed was this stuff. How to compute the maximum value. Oops, connect, load this one. And I thought, just for a minute or so in between episodes about the approach to this one. How do you do a thing 5 times? You could loop, but actually it would be simpler to just spawn 5 copies of a program that is going to go do like this, the whole task itself. And then explode. And the trick is like making sure you coordinate with the people who are going to read this value with the person who just turned off one of these guys. And so my thinking was to make 5 copies of the program starting in this room. And does it matter which room they're in? I guess it doesn't. I guess I can start here, it's fine. Causes less activity, right? It's actually a little tricky because you want them... You have like a semaphore, right? There should only be one program operating at once. And so the very first thing you do after forking off a new task should be to read from M, where someone, the guy like over here presumably, authorizes you to begin operation. And there won't be anyone who just did this the first time, and so I think, however, we can just have the guy who didn't replicate into that code, the original master, he can just skip the authorization check. And I guess we're gonna need... There's this question of what do you do with the last guy who turned off the last power plant, right? He's kind of thinking that he should broadcast back to someone at home, like, hey, I'm ready. But there will be no such person. And so you kind of want a dummy sitting around waiting for instructions from him, but it's hard to do that, isn't it? Because... how do you get someone sitting around waiting for instructions and not hijacking any of the earlier instructions, right? It's a trickier synchronization problem than it looks like, actually. I thought this was pretty simple. So, suppose, actually, yeah, I get it. This is cute. So instead of having this person send a message by writing to M, we can send a message by reading from M, right? authorizing one of these people who's broadcasting random garbage to begin operations. And we can detect end of operation by, before we read from M, we check to see if we would get a value. If not, we assume everyone else is dead and we're the last bot. That's what I think. Yeah. Now, I guess this is fine. The first original master bot can just skip the part of the code that attempts to write to him. And he'll self-authorize. Okay. That seems good. So let's get started on writing this stuff. Which means, since the original... Ooh. Is that true? My thinking was, since the original is going to have to be available to do something special, he needs to not be stuck by all these idiots waiting. Like, if I put him in this room and he spawns 4 extra copies, he'll be stuck and they'll all be stuck trying to write something. So I need him to start creating copies here. But maybe it doesn't have to be bot number 1 who goes first. It could be bot number 5 who goes first. Right? I have 4 replicates created by a macro. Each of which basically says jump to the part of the program where you try to write something. And then the last case is not generated by a macro and says jump past the part where you try to write and instead well, I guess either way, we have to do the replicating out here, because it's either the first... Yeah, it's either the first or the last bot who has to do something special, and that means the first or last bot has to be... You have to either, like... You have to have room to spawn all of the copies first. So I guess... That's kind of a bummer, because it would be nice to have a couple fewer link traversals for the activity metric, but oh well. We link to here. Yeah, maybe it doesn't have to be the first or whatever. It can be the second bot who does something special. We can replicate once to, like, do something special. And then 3 times replicate to do the normal thing. And finally end with do the normal thing. So that actually seems totally fine. So I think we'll... And that means we can do all of that in this room, right? I think. Because we'll only make 1 copy before it's time to start, like, actually doing work. So let's link to 800, and again to 799, and then let's replicate to lock. This is where we're taking the lock, right? And then we'll jump to go, I guess. Well, no, this is silly. Let's replicate to go once. The slave will do that. And then repeated, we need to make 5 total copies, so 3 more times. Repl to lock. And we put lock here, and lock just says copy 0 to M. And then we begin the go code. So this is where you're actually authorized to do work. And the work is, I somehow deleted the bot who had the max code. I guess I needed to update it anyway, right? This code is make. Although, honestly, well, no, we could put the make here, but then we need, yeah. I think it'd be a little faster if we'd made the file already by the time we got the message to go ahead. But then the guy who skips the locking part wouldn't have the file, so. Anyway, not a big deal. We make a new file. That's going to store, as I said in the last episode, I believe it was. Maybe it was the beginning of this one. I think it was the beginning of this one. Anyway, that's going to store the index of the thing we need to go to. And so it's starting from here. So we will... computing a max, so okay. Well, I guess we can say now copy copy hash cgc0 into x. Yeah, it's kind of easier if I don't special case the first one. Now that I have to write to the file as well, it's simpler to just do it uniformly. So we'll just repeat 5 times. Copy from the ZGC of a number from 0 going up by 1 into x. I don't want to copy it into x, do I? I want to test whether it is greater than x. If not, then we f-jump to no for this branch. Let's just say not, like we did earlier. If so, we will copy this into x and copy the number itself to f. For 0, right. We don't have to count backwards this time like we were before. We can just copy directly the number of steps to take starting from 0, and that's fine. Okay. Now we have computed the largest one and its index. Yes, I think so. Therefore, we must link -1 and link 798. I don't know why this isn't link 800, by the way. It would be pretty handy. And then I believe I would like to seek -1 and copy f into t, right? Having arrived here, I need to mark walk doing basically the same thing I did before. Which is to say, except I can optimize it if I want. I can in fact add I, F, and 1 and put it in T, which was the optimization I was planning, right? And then we can sub I, F, no, not F, T, 1, T, and if the value that we have obtained as a result is non-zero, why am I like going crazy here? Right. We will F jump, no, T jump to walk, right? Otherwise, yeah, this is the shortest possible loop, right? But I'm not doing any link traversal, that's why. So I need to like F jump ahead to off, power off, right? And then link 800. I feel like I had some sort of better optimization, and I don't understand how that was possible. I guess the optimization is that here. No. Okay, I guess if I just don't do this add, if I just copy it into T, I don't do the subtract first. I just F jump to off. Then I can link 100, 800 rather, sub I T1 and T, and then have another T jump back to step. In this way, the first step is efficient because it doesn't do a check. It doesn't. I don't have to have 2 jumps in every iteration of the loop. Jump forward if you're done, jump backwards if you're not. I can just jump backwards as long as I'm not done. Marking off here, we are done walking, and we copy 0 to power, and we see if there's someone ready to do the next thing. Test MRD, and we will F jump from here to end, where end is like literally no code at all. Otherwise, we just copy 0 to M. No. We void M. Alright, how does this look? It does not compile. I didn't put in my labels. This compiles. Look at them go. But one of them is probably actually doing something, right? XA0 seems to be the real smart one in the lot. Yeah. So he's computed 186 is the one that needs to be shut off, and it's at position number 4. Perfect. He's now put that into his T register. And has walked the requisite number of steps, writing a 0 to power. So it's off. Great. He tests MRD and detects yes, someone is waiting. So he deletes himself and frees up someone else to work. Now, I'm interested to see, first of all, who got the message. This guy. So he's copying ZGC 0 into X. Okay, and it's a larger number. ZGC 1 is a larger number still. Yeah, so these definitely did change when we made that operation, so... Okay. And I'm interested in what ZGC 4 is going to do. Probably it's going to be 0, right? Apparently. No, it didn't. So there he is, and he turned it off, and everything is still shaking, so I assume that this is actually working. Yeah. Oh, look at those poor guys wobble. This guy's doing his job as well. Oh my gosh, I forgot to wipe the file that we were using to carry everything. Okay, but it succeeded. We turned things off, and he's determined he is the last survivor and destroys himself. Okay. But we need to wipe at some point here. It would be kind of nice if we did it as soon as we're done reading the file. And I think we're done, right? Yep. Pretty well on cycles. Not like the absolute best that, you know, apparently a small number of people did, but well below the normal score. And actually doing quite well on size as well. Interesting that activity, it's like it's the normal amount, but what would you do that would be better? I guess... the better approach would be to have a single controller in here who broadcasts messages to this guy, right? To a single worker in this area who just like goes to the necessary thing and shuts it down. Then you have fewer like walks through the central area. Okay, well, cool. A fun solution anyway. So the part about the world not being real, I think maybe they were onto something. I don't really believe that. They didn't have the right idea how to deal with it, of course, but there's something I've been suspicious about for a while now. I'm gonna have to do some more tests. We're living in a simulation, man. Elon Musk was right all along. He's the one, right, who who talked about that possibility, I think. All right, let's hack our eyes, I guess. More phage problems. There's a rumor that the phage originally came from a research lab, a human-machine interface experiment that found its way into the wild. Can we talk about this after I fix my eye? It's just funny. I remember some of that research. It was happening right next door to us. Whoa, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Read a value from each of the optic nerves present. Each of them present? Is there like a different number? No, it's always 9. What's up with this area? There's a compass here. 1 is this direction. Okay. And write the correct value. So count the number of values that are greater than minus 55. And then do some math to it. So the absolute best cycle count, I think, would be if we had 9 dudes waiting in these 9 rooms, and they each broadcast either a 0 or a 1 to someone waiting here, who receives 9 messages and then does the rest the necessary math. However, it's not so easy because you would have to like have a different number of no-ops, right? Like, because you don't want to like broadcast a value and then immediately broadcast the next value. That's no good. You need to wait for all 9 areas to broadcast a value, and then all 9 can broadcast another. A simple approach will be to have one EXA who just samples all 9 nerves and then returns to home base, right? And starts over. Is there some cool combination of the two somehow? That's like faster but not difficult to coordinate? It's like, I was thinking about like the approach that we took to the power outage, where we send probes along one direction and it sends more probes along this other direction, which is fine. I guess it would be. I was thinking like it's a little bit harder to get someone to stay, because like say you're here, right, and you say I need to stay here and send someone southeast, or I guess in the -3 direction, and also send someone in the 1 direction. That's fine, but then there are going to be 2 nodes which send a worker to this node, and they'll both think they own it, so that's no good. So I think what you would need to do if you wanted to fill all of these with 1 EXA each would be to have first a wave that just sends copies in the 1 direction, and then each of those sends copies only in the -3 direction. In that way, we could get these all filled with EXAs, no real trouble, but coordinating them is not so obvious, right? What if we did like a divide and conquer thing? This is like seeming extremely difficult to do, like to organize, but it would be really cool if like each row just like the X's here walked to the center row, broadcast their values to this guy, and then the masters of the 2 columns here walked to the center and sent their value to the middle guy, and the middle guy just sent the message over to the visual cortex. And right, like that seems like it would be awesome. It's hard to do that with a small, like, with just something that shoots a probe in this direction. And then those shoot probes in this direction. Like, then the guys who land don't really know where they live in the architecture, right? Do they? They could keep track. Although, maybe it would just be simpler to have, instead of this whole divide and conquer thing, which seems cool, to instead just have, like, right. The reason that the divide and conquer approach is good is that there's one... it's that... there's back pressure, right? There's no way for one node to get ahead and inject a message too far forward in the process, right? You can't accidentally send a value from here that this guy will get. You walk here and try to write something, and until this guy's here, he can't get it, right? So I think each... Okay, hang on. So we only have 2 registers? And so I was thinking it's a little bit difficult to have, because you kind of need, no, you only need one value that tells you which direction to move. It's just a link number. You traverse in that direction, and then you drop off a value. And then you traverse in the opposite of that direction. However, there is some magic needed, which is that, like, the masters in the center of a row or column need to recognize that they have no link in that step, and their value should just be like 0, right? However, and so then they need to know, okay, well, my value is 0, but what direction do I go to report up to a new master, right? And so they kind of do need 2 bits of information. And likewise, the central master needs to know, okay, I'm in charge of everything. Don't walk in any direction, just collect results. And the number of results to collect will be 4, apparently. So I guess the process is going to be collect a value. I've already encountered a difficulty, which is that I guess you can write the value you're reading from the nerve into a file, and then send from that file directly to the owner of where you're going. God, this seems like a ton of work compared to just having one Exa who walks around and does everything. And it is a ton of work, and it's not even really much faster, I think. But it's so much cooler. let's start by writing the really dumb approach and see like just how bad is it, right? We'll have this guy be I don't know, whatever. Let's call him XA, and his job is just to go into the eye. Like I just want to like write something and not go crazy. Link 1, link 3, mark. Go. I don't know. And then 9 times, and I'm aware I could do a loop here, and this is kind of a lot of code. But maybe I don't need to repeat the math 9 times. I could add another exa here who receives values, does math on them, and then transmits them using local mode to this guy. So we receive the values from the global broadcasts, and then we do math on them. And then this guy has, like, this will receive the values in a loop. We'll send them in a loop, but this guy will just receive them. Copy M to... No. What exactly am I doing 9 times? We're copying M to... I don't know, this is silly. So this guy's going to be the receiver. Mark leader. He receives values and determines if they're greater than -56 or not, and just transmits that. No, but that's not doing anything, is it? Because you can do that with just a test, right? Yeah, this guy's just not doing anything. This is silly. And so I guess that what we're doing is test whether M is greater than -56, and then add the result in T to X, storing it in X. Do this 9 times. Finally, multiply the result by 5. Yeah, we could like add... We could add 5 here instead, but it's like T is already a convenient number. It's better to do a single multiply at the end than like make this loop more expensive. Multiply 5x into x and sub I x by 75 into nerve, right? Now, this other guy, his job is pretty simple. He just links like what is a convenient path through here? There's nothing that ends you exactly where you want it to be, but link 800 and then begin your loop, right? Mark, go. And so we just repeat 3 times. of copy nerve into M. Oh, this guy should be global. There was no local stuff to do after all. And link. Oh, we don't want to link after each of these, do we? All right, the repetition's silly. We just link 1. But then here, instead of 1, we would link to -3. And twice go in the -1 direction, traversing us to here. Finally, so -3 got us here, -1, -1. Now we need to go -3 again. And then, no, this is awkward. I could have done better, I guess. So let's go -3 twice, getting us to the bottom right corner. And then -1 twice. So -3, -3. These two are -1. And that gets us here. And then we need to go 3 once. And then 1 once. Finally, this last copy, and we link to -1, link to 3, jump to go, right? Like, I think this is correct, although, like, pretty outrageous. Oh, I missed a spot. He didn't get to the middle one, right? I intended for him to go middle from here. So which step do I need to fix? This one. It shouldn't be -1, it should be 3. Ah! Here? Oh, maybe I just have too many. No. What? So 1, 1. -3, -3. -1. 3. -1, -3. Oh, and this guy needs to... go. This guy did not go back enough times. So, okay, I believe the brute force solution is complete now. Uh-oh, I wrote a 0. Yes, I need to now copy a 0 into X. It was correct to not do it the first time because X starts out empty, but you need to fix it after that. These are all incorrect values. So we broadcast each of those values. So hang on. We read that, set a -37. And then when that guy got there, we were finished. So he's read that, that, those. And he is now ready to write a value into the nerve, right? And the value that he wrote was the correct one, as I recall, right? Or minus 65, yeah. He copies 0 into x and begins going again. He gets this value. Oh my god, it says 50. I just typed this wrong. Okay. And now it should be correct, yeah? Yeah. Okay, so this is pretty lame. Not very interesting, right? Interesting that a large number of people found a almost zero activity solution, which I assume means they had exas in all 9 nodes who weren't moving around, and they just managed the synchronization correctly. I'm not sure what the guarantees are if 2 exas are... Well, is it in the manual? Let's find out. M. And when an exa writes, it will be stored. If an exa writes to M, it will pause until the value is read. If 2 or more exa attempt to read from another exa at the same time, or vice versa, which I assume means write, if 2 attempts to write to an exa, 1 will succeed, but which will succeed is unpredictable. Sure, I mean, I knew that, but that doesn't help with... I don't know, I mean, like, I guess you could just add a few no-ops, right, into each of your worker nodes, and then you'd be okay. Huh. Well... So, the orchestrated solution is cool, but I don't think I really want to actually write it, so I'm just not going to. Hopefully this is the last time you'll have to hack yourself like this. Sure. Maybe you'll come upon a solution to that. Some way to keep from having to physically go in and fix yourself every so often. What if I became a robot? How about that? I wonder what that would entail. Something to think about. Oh, and we have a meeting with Gast. How nice.
Hey, you hanging in there? I just wanted to check up on you. There's no new issue of the zine yet. It's gonna be a while before I get it together.
Gast pauses for a moment and takes a deep breath.
To be honest, I'm not sure if it'll happen. It's getting harder for me to concentrate and, well, let's not talk about that. I just hope I was able to educate some people, you know, give them some power, some agency. Otherwise, we're all at the mercy of these big systems. You know my speech on this, but I can't help it, man. They're gonna run right over our humanity. It's happening faster than we can handle, and soon, it's all gonna be one big machine. I've depressed myself again. Listen, I'm glad to know you. We had some good times back in the day. All right, I'm gonna go before I get too sentimental. See you around somewhere. I'm out.
I can hear Gast walking down the hall slowly. Will this be the last time I see him? There was an edge to his voice. ... Okay, so we have Holman Dynamics, credit card hacking, or compete to send your exes into the opponent's host. Interesting. Okay, noted. But we are not going to do either of those. Oh, god damn it. You guys weren't watching. I forgot to go back to the thing when we... Alright, well, good thing all that was out loud, huh? Blah. I was doing so well. It's been forever since I forgot to switch controls back. Oh well. This is what you get for professional high-grade YouTubing. Yeah. Okay. So there's credit card hacking or some sort of EXA competition where you try to send your X's into the opponent's host. I don't know why. Like, shouldn't they just be able to kill them? I'm kind of interested in this. The final hacker battle. Are you excited? Are you nervous? Nah. No reason to be. I'm the best. Yeah, great. Positive encouragement. Thanks. So, hacker battle domination. To win this battle, you must occupy a majority of the hosts for as long as possible. You occupy a host if you have more values. Okay, well, whatever. It's like really kind of an odd setup, right? Oh no, I see. It's I'm not allowed out of this node, or I am, but only into the nuke area. My opponent, yeah, he can pass through these walls that don't exist for me, these doors. Interesting. The links and the shape are all identical every time, aren't they? So why do we have many test cases? As far as I can tell, there's no difference. Also, why do I only start with 1 and he starts with 2? I guess because otherwise it would be too easy for me to win, because I'm better at this than he is. Interesting. Well, I guess we have this to look forward to. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.